10 powerful practices that I learned from Brother Bo Sanchez about book writing. My first encounter with Bo Sanchez, a best-selling author, was when I saw his books in one of the local bookstores here in Baguio. And even if I had no extra money at the time, I was in college, his books have this magnetic power and they got my attention. And I could still remember that moment when I was holding the book and feeling the texture of the cover while I was reading what's the book about and who the author is. And I wasn't able to buy his book at that time, but I could still vividly remember that moment. I wasn't able to buy the book because I had no extra money, because I had to pay my tuition and I had to buy textbooks at that time. But then fast forward years later, when I started working in Makati, I met him in one of their seminars, and then I had a short chit chat with him. I bought two of his books. And since that day, I've been following him, I've been listening to him, and I've been observing him. And he is one of my huge influencers in my life. And he impacted me so much that he influenced how I view life, how I approach writing, and how I also write. And so in this video, let me share with you 10 powerful practices that I learned from him about book writing. And this learning is from my observations from him, when I got to attend one of his events on book writing as well. And he really does what he teaches. So number one is this. Number one, he says this, that you approach book writing as you are not just writing a book, but you are building a giant factory. And to me, that makes a lot of sense, because with this approach, you will be able to get started and get going. Why? Because you will not wait for that moment when you have this most brilliant idea where you can write your legacy book. I call it legacy book, like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or the 8th Habit by Stephen Covey, or maybe you can think of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? So maybe one day you can write and you can reach a caliber like that later on one day, right? But having this idea that you're not just writing a book, you're building a factory, a giant one, will help you get started, because maybe later on one of your books will reach that caliber, right? And also this will push you to get going. Why? Because one book will not be enough. You'll not stop with just one. And Bo Sanchez, when he said this, it's so powerful because he himself is doing it. He started writing books in his early 20s, and now in his 50s, he has written more than 40 best-selling books and still counting. And for me, I was so blessed as well that I was able to, as of today, I have written and published 5 books, and I'm working on my 6th book. All right. So remember that you are not just writing a book, you're building a giant factory. Approach it that way. Number 2 is this. It's something related to that, building a giant factory. So number 2 is this. You need these 3 machines. What are these machines? The message machine, the media machine, and money machine. You need to build your message machine because you need to keep on delivering your message through spoken and written word. So you have to have that. It's something that you do on a regular basis. It's like it's that message machine. Now it's also you need to have a media machine, meaning you need to find ways on how you can deliver that message through offline medium and online media. Right now you have a social media, everything is being done online now, so you really have to get going there. Number three machine is that the money machine. Okay, this is not going to be true in all the things that you do, but you need to find ways on how you can make money. For example, book sales or business talks to companies, right? And where they will pay for that. And this is important so that you can sustain what you do and even serve more. All right. So build your money machine. Now, as I was thinking about this idea, there's a new thought that came to my mind. And would it be wonderful if I would be able to be earning sufficient money from 20% of what I do, right? Imagine that. And not just sufficient, but there will be a surplus. And this surplus would help me even finance or sustain. I could be doing like 80%, right? The remaining 80% could be all free because it's for ministry perhaps or for charity. And wouldn't it be nice to have something like that, right? So I'm considering of that as could be a new goal, right? So 20%, it could be a good number. But the bottom line is that you need to have these three machines: the message machine, the media machine, and money machine. So that's number two, practice. Number three is this: do not just share knowledge, share wisdom. Because knowledge is like, okay, it's from research, it's usually secondhand information. But share wisdom, which is from transformation, usually from first-hand experience. The books that impacted my life are those that shared wisdom. They're stories of transformation from their first-hand experience. I've read books that shared knowledge based on research, and even it was full, right? It's full of information, and it could be so sound and practical, but there something seems missing. And it's because of that if you're writing, it's better to have that. You share wisdom, not just knowledge. So that's number three. Number four is this: always write from the heart. Because people feel dry writing. And if it's written from the heart, it's alive, there's enthusiasm, it's vibrant, and it's those things shared with enthusiasm, with love, with passion, are the things that make the most impact. And you want to have that, right? So number five, don't just instruct, you need to inspire. And this is important because we don't just deal with the head, we have to deal with the heart. Don't just deal with the intellect, you deal with the emotion. Okay. And I would like to add this, that it has to be a balance of those two, right? Don't just inspire either. And you need to inspire in a way that you will be motivated to act. But also you instruct them so that they would know what to do. Okay? So again, it's not the extreme of those two. It has to be a balance. All right? And just enough instruction for them to know what to do, and also the inspiration that they need to drive them forward, to push them forward and implement what you just taught them. Right? We need that. So that's number five. Number six is this: use stories, because this is the language of the heart. And I love it. I listen to his talks, to his books. And it's filled with stories. And it's the stories that make the message magnetic and memorable. So review the books that have captivated your heart. I believe that they were delivered with stories, through stories. And storytelling is one of the skills that I continue to learn, continue to develop, and you should too. All right, number seven. Let's move this quickly, because number seven is to create content quickly. Create content quickly. How? Bo Sanchez has these two recommendations. He says, lock yourself in a daily writing schedule. And number two is to lock yourself in a daily shipping schedule. meaning you don't just write, but you need to share it as well, publish it, whether online, offline, whether it's a blog or a video like this. So at first I was able to do this, but because of the demands of life, I modified this from daily to weekly. So I would say this to help you that, hey, lock yourself in a weekly writing schedule and lock yourself in a weekly shipping schedule, okay? Or sharing schedule, okay? You have to ship it. So looking back, my being a newspaper columnist from 2014 to 2019 helped me do this because it's a Sunday paper, it's a weekly thing. So true enough, this exercise helped me write and publish my third book in 2016 and my fourth book in 2018. So it's really helpful and it works, all right? And recently I made a commitment to myself to deliver at least one video every week. And this would also require me to write, to craft. And so this is forcing me to have my weekly writing and shipping schedule. Also, my weekly coaching sessions with my book coachees. It requires me to create and to craft content on a regular basis. And some may be existing content, but I get to review and improve them. So it's still enhancing that skill, helping me develop that skill. All right, so that's number 7. Number 8, my friend, is to write simply. Write simply and speak simply. Because your goal is not to impress your readers or your audience with your PhD level vocabulary. No, your goal is to convey a message that will be understood by your audience. And so I embrace this so much. So I make sure that I write and say my message as simply as I can, enough to be understood by my audience. And so this is very important because when our audience or readers are confused, we lose them, and you don't want that to happen. So we need to work hard enough so that we can simplify our language for them. Number 9, always have a clear one big message. This is very important. If you don't have a clear one big message, you are not delivering something, and you could be wasting their time and you are wasting your time as well. And number 10 is this, very important, and this is one of the things that many people forget. They say that, hey, I want to be a writer, I want to be an author, but are you doing this? Number 10 is this, be a voracious learner. Right? Be a voracious learner. I'd say this, without an inflow, there will be no outflow, right? If there is no inflow, there will be no outflow. It's obvious, it's common sense. So if you want to speak about a certain subject, you have to make sure that you listen a lot first about that certain subject. If you want to write about a certain topic, make sure you read a lot about that certain topic. So be a voracious learner, because without an inflow, there is no outflow. Powerful, right? It sounds common. It sounds like common sense, but it's not common practice, as Brendan Burchard would always say. So I repeat these 10 powerful practices that I learned from Bo Sanchez about book writing. Number 1, you're not writing a book, you are building a giant factory. Number 2, you need these 3 machines: message machine, media machine, and money machine. Number 3, do not just share knowledge, share wisdom. Number 4, always write from the heart. Number 5, don't just instruct, inspire. Number 6, use stories. This is the language of the heart. Number 7, create content quickly. Number 8, write simply. Number 9, always have a clear one big message. And number 10, be a voracious learner. My friend, implement these 10 powerful practices, and these will help you write your books. Thank you for watching. Did you like this video? Please share it to your friends and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel.